People have been saying, if you look at Kenyans, they are divided into two. There is one group that says Gachagua is guilty until proven guilty. There is another group that says Gachagua is a victim of the system. I will address on this second team. These are the people who 18 months ago were castigating Gachagua for Mulima-based politics. If today tables were turned, and Ruto was being persecuted, you'll find these very same people. Yani to them, you have to be, the government is evil, nothing good comes out of the government, whatever. And there are some things, you see, these people are learned. These are not just those people I used to stay with at the border of Pokot and Turkana in 1984, a place called Nauyapong. No, these are people who have laptops in their own houses. They have Wi-Fi. They have laptops and Wi-Fi, and they are always on air. They can still Google a lot of things, but to them, there's one. Forgive me for sometimes being rude to the people, because I never went through a seminary. But if you look at my CV, I am a former student of GSU training school. So sometimes we want you to discuss facts, ABCD, not this thing. Oh, where's you nini? Now somebody was telling me something, and I really I really told him off. It was about Gachagua, so-called poisoning, and this fellow was telling me that there was no reason for Gachagua handing over. You know, how can the DCI? Me, I used to work for NIS, so we are the closest. Ni kama AP na general duties police. You call them regular, but they are called general duties. You see, regular police anajua mambo ya AP more than any person on the street, isn't it? So me, I know how DCI works. Now, if there are some things where you decide not to say, a person like Saitoti was poisoned, and he knew that by speaking, the criminal will not be arrested, and then he just kept quiet. So in case Gachagua was poisoned or anything, and he knows the only ways that are allowed are maybe pro-government and maybe they'll not side with him, he just keeps quiet. And then somebody else was telling me, before I come to today's topic, somebody else was telling me that he believes, and I say he because ladies rarely, it's rare for ladies on the keyboard to be unreasonable. He says that wasn't Trun poisoned? Wasn't Saitoti poisoned? Wasn't Kilonzo poisoned? Yes, they were poisoned. And if you look at the way they were poisoned, Trun, at the time when he was poisoned, he called a press conference and said, I am not feeling well. I'll be admitted in Nairobi hospital for some time. Then I'll continue with the work. Of course, he never said because of the environment that was there. Saitoti never said it until Moi said Saitoti had been poisoned, and then Saitoti came out. Who else? Philip Mule Kilonzo, an employee of his, was hired to place something in his beer. And what happened with him? He was taking his beer on the counter, and then he was just called aside. He was told there is a cow here. I don't know whether they were giving him or he was to inspect or anything. And he left there his drink. He left there his drink. He left there his drink was in a glass and in a bottle. He went there. After 3 minutes, he came back. After 3 minutes, he came back. When he came back, after tasting the beer, the first thing he said is that this beer tastes funny. You see, those are the things. But then this is somebody, you know, going to a presidential suit, and I would challenge anybody who is a keyboard warrior. Just go to any five-star hotel and ask to be shown the presidential suit. Now, for you to go there and you go into his kitchen and whatever, sometimes when you plan to cheat knowing that those people listening are intelligent. Two, be like Saitoti. Saitoti knew that if he would have said that thing, nobody would have trusted him or anything. Just keep quiet. So people come up with so many stories. And these are the very same people who 18 months ago were saying that Nani is talking about shareholding, saying that all government positions should only go to areas that voted for Kenya Kwanza. Now, if you are supporting Gachagua, then it means that you are supporting the system of selective appointment. And when I talk of selective appointment, it reminds me of this case. Somebody was very rude to me and said that the case has already been decided because the government did what? The wife of one of the judges is a senior government employee, a senior Ruto government employee. First of all, that government, that is the government in 2023, that appointed that madam to be in that parastatal job was the work of Rigathi Gachagua, is the brainchild of that. Rigathi Gachagua, it is an open secret that Rigathi Gachagua was not for meritocracy. He was not for that. He was just saying that it is up to those areas that voted for this present government to reap that. And then let us ask ourselves, this judge is a Luo. His wife is a Luo. Coming from an area that did not vote for Kenya Kwanza. So, na hata kama, of course we have some Luos kina Owala and so on. But if we have those ones, who is this person who was on the forefront saying that let us just employ people not on the merit, but let us appoint them because of our supporters? Who said that? And that is when the English say, be careful with what you wish for it will not. And I remember James Orengo one time talking in Parliament saying that when the government eats, it eats more of its people than we in the opposition. And he said, I'm a lawyer. One time when it turns to you, you'll be what? So let us stop those things. Let us now address issues. Let us ask ourselves, which are the cases that are there? Even if the OCS hates you, he cannot take you to court by just hating you. He'll plant bang on you. When he plants bang on you, you'll go to court and be charged that you are found with bang, isn't it? So let us address issues that will be before the court. The first issue, the first case, there are around 60 cases now. And by Tuesday, there is one of the orders is that they stop. They consolidate all the cases on Tuesday. They will consolidate all the cases on Tuesday. What do they mean? We have, is it true or true? We'll count as we say, but we have very few points that we have, so very few cases that we are handling. We have very few cases we are handling, and these cases that we are handling, there are more than 60 people who have complained. So what they are going to do is that instead of calling the first person to say, okay, nani aliiba kuku yangu, Second person, nani aliiba kuku yangu, until 60 people. No, first one says nani aliiba kuku yetu. Second person, nani aliiba kuku yetu, until 60 people. So they're going to consolidate it to be one, so that you are charged with stealing a kuku belonging to Abasamo clan. Not that every Msamo. So they'll say the interested Wasamo is A, B, C, D, up to 60. So that is what they are going to consolidate. So the first case that was there was that some people rushed to court to stop. You know, the National Assembly was already sitting and deliberating. The National Assembly was sitting and deliberating on the case. So the first case was to prevent the National Assembly from passing their decision. You see, they decided to impeach him. So the Constitution says that after the National Assembly has impeached him, or if it is a governor, after the county assembly has impeached you, then it is taken to the Senate. So case number one, prevent the case from going to the Senate. As we talk, of course, that is overtaken by event. So that case will, I don't know the status of that case, but I believe that it has died a natural death, because already the Senate received the proceedings from the National Assembly, and the Senate sat and decided what to do. So that first case is gone. The other case is that they want to stop Kindiki or any other person from being sworn in. Now, why is it that I'm emphasizing? They are saying stop Kindiki or any other person. Because if they would have gone to court and say stop Kindiki from being sworn in, Ruto would give out the name of another person, and the person would go for clearance, and the person would go for clearance, and the person would be cleared in a record time, and the person would be rushed to Uhuru Gardens, and the person would be made the deputy president. So it is saying, it is stopping Kindiki and any other person from being sworn in. So this is the case that it has been there, and because of the hula balloons that we have been having, we have not been concentrating on the main case. And we have not been concentrating on the main case. The main case has been stopping Kindiki or any other person from being sworn in. And on Thursday evening, midnight, the case expired. Because when they took the case to judges, the judges placed their, let me not use those strong words, let me use a street language. The court stopped anybody from being sworn in. And you see, you don't stop anybody from being sworn in. You stop anybody from being sworn in up to a certain limited time, or even forever. Even if it is forever, it is for the judges to decide it is forever. Or if it is for a limited time, the judges will have to say what limited time it is. You get me? It is for the judges to say. Now, the first injunction, or the first case, the judges, they had said that they had given a period of time. The period of time expired on Thursday. It expired at Thursday midnight. So Friday morning, it was already expired. What does that say? It says that on Friday morning, Kindiki would have been sworn in. But then, this court of three judges, those who are being branded at they recuse themselves, they disqualify themselves. These are the judges. It is called sutu ordo, which means on their own. Nobody told them to say that, but they did it on their own initiative. Sutu ordo says own initiative. On their own initiative, they decided that no, what we are going to do, the case is ending on Thursday evening, but we are extending it for 5 days. We are extending it for 5 days, or when we have cleared with the case. So when they have cleared with the case, or 5 days, then Kindiki is free to be sworn in. Now, that is when they said that, okay, the 5 days, that is Tuesday. Tuesday, they are going to consolidate. They are going to consolidate. I'll repeat it. Some people blame me for repeating things. But you see, that is how we emphasize things. When it reaches Tuesday, there is only one charge that is important. Forget about these things. And that is why we are being told, and Dunstan Omar said, their intention is not, they know what will happen. They know. And I know after they lose the case, they'll just say, oh, don't you know that this is the government side? But they know the case that they have nothing to. That is why even when they are being given a time to talk, they come up and talk everything. They're trying to buy time to get to the 3 years that they said. And they'll be very lucky if they get it to 3 months. I can tell you that. But anyway, on Tuesday, this is what is going to happen. The judges are going to decide. They are going to decide that we only have one case. And the case is, no, there are two cases, I think. Yeah, there are two cases. Case number one, the 60, and that is why you're hearing they are saying consolidated. Between now and Tuesday, other new people will come in, may come in. Okay, other old ones will come out. It's possible for even others to get out, others to come in. So the list that will be there on Tuesday is the final list. No other list. Nobody is going to come in and nobody is going to come out. So on Tuesday, they want to know all the people that are complaining. Kituo cha sheria, Gashagwa, sijui nani, all of them, they'll be listed. Then they will go for the charges. They'll say that these are the charges now. Charge number one. Okay, we have cases. We have so many things. You'll even remind me in the comment section. Someone will say the public participation was not enough. So it is for the court to decide whether that was enough public participation. My personal view is that we do not have a law that specifies how long public participation is. We don't know whether for public participation of 3 hours is enough or public participation for 3 months is enough. So they will have to decide that. And the most prudent way of deciding is to say that, okay, from now on, any law that goes through the parliament, public participation will be under this parameter. So one of the things that the court will want to find out is about public participation. Was it taken? And if it was taken, was it less or more or something? I know they say that it was done on Saturday and SDA, but then they'll be asked, you have no problem with it being done on Friday, and Friday is a Muslims' day. You mean Muslims, who are 33% of the Kenyan population, are not important than 5% who are SDA. So there are those things, but at the end of the day, they'll come up and say public participation is this way. Or they'll even push back to the parliament and say, can you enact a law that talks about public participation? That one they'll take care of. The other thing is that he was not given an opportunity to defend himself in the Senate. Now, the Senate will come up with people, and another thing is that the Speaker of the Senate will just say, he's a lawyer. Both the speakers are lawyers. He'll just say that he was given an opportunity to do, and he never indicated where he was. We made a decision without the facts. We didn't know that he was sick. We didn't know that whatever. If we would have known he was sick and whatever, and even his own lawyer said that he cannot trace him. So there is that decision people make. If you make a decision, you are judged with whatever decision you made at that particular time. Between that time and now, new things can come up, new things can crop up. And when new things come up and new things crop up, you may make a different decision. So the judges will be asked, did the speaker or did the Senate know that he was sick? And if he was sick, because the Senate, for them to know that he's sick, first of all, they were to be told. Is there anybody who said that he was sick when they were passing the decision? No. Nobody said he was sick. Two, if he was sick, government does this. It is the doctor who was supposed to be called to the parliament and to the Senate and say, the person is sick, A, B, C, D, and this is how he is. So they made a decision without knowing. And you cannot be blamed for a decision that you make when you don't, you have nothing in, you don't have that information with you. So that is what I was trying to say, that the case now lies in those 2 points. Point number one, was injustice done to him? If the court decides injustice was done to him, where he was not where he was not given opportunity to defend himself and whatever, then the judiciary can declare the proceeding of the Senate null and void, null and void, and then that is when now again the National Assembly will start impeaching him again and again, because when it goes back to the National Assembly, they are going to use the points that they. You could remember the 2017 election. They took that paper which the courts had decided and did the ticking. One tick, two tick. That is what they are going to do. If it is proven that he was not, it was not fair to him. It's like accusing a dog before hyenas. You know, they are both in the dog family, and you are in the ape family. So if they can prove that, then the court can decide that injustice was not done. There is another question also. There is another question of Kindiki has not resigned for 6 months and whatever. It is for the court to decide, and nobody should blame me if I give out my views. You have your different. First of all, I'll not even blame you for having a different alternative. The thing is, presidency. You see, he didn't expect the impeachment to be there, and a prominent Kenyan staying there for 6 months unemployed, something like that. But I believe that this is one of the cases where a court decides that from now henceforth, this is what is going to be happening in future. If the deputy president is impeached, whoever takes over must ABCD ABCD. That is going to be the future. What do you call measuring stick? But as of now, it will be accepted that way. So those are the things that they are going to decide, whether he was given free time, whether whether Kindiki is whether there are actually 2 points, whether Kindiki is fit to take that on the strength that he did not resign his public work. That is what they are going to decide. Or if they say that, get it, that if they say Kindiki did not resign in 6 months, then they have given the president an opportunity to give a name of another person. So I don't know whether Gachagua would want another person to be there, then they start again and again and again. I don't know. But then if the court decides that Kindiki is supposed to have resigned 6 months ago, then somebody else will be nominated. But if the court decides that injustice was done on Rigathi Gachagua, then the court will declare that the proceedings, both in the National Assembly and the Senate, was unfair. Leave alone that. It can even decide one of them. It could say that the National Assembly was not fair, but the Senate was fair. Or the Senate was fair and the National Assembly was not fair. And if it decides that way, there are three scenarios here of deciding it was not fair. The parliament was not fair. The first scenario is both the Senate and the National Assembly were unfair to Rigiji. That is first scenario. Second scenario, the House, the National Assembly was unfair, but the Senate was fair. And the third one, National Assembly was fair, but the Senate was unfair. In those three circumstances, where National Assembly was unfair, or the second one, the Senate was unfair, or both of them were unfair, then the court has a right to declare mistrial. A mistrial. So it will be like it never happened. And if the church people have not reconciled the two, because what has been happening, maybe watakuwa wamesikizana. If they have not reconciled, then obviously Rigathi Gachagwa's name will go back to the National Assembly. Now, this is a case where you don't have to wait for 6 months. 6 months is when you have gone through the system up to the Senate and you have won the impeachment case. But there is a word in law that is called expunging. Expunging is literally saying that no reference will be made there, even though the records are in the file, but it will be treated as if that thing never happened in the first place. It never happened. So impeachment never happened. And so I'm avoiding saying Ruto. Anyway, but so Mutuse wants to impeach him. Yeah, Mutuse will go back to parliament and then do whatever. So that is how it is. If I keep on repeating myself for emphasis, you only lose your bundles. But these are good lessons. One, did the National Assembly give him chance to defend himself? Did the Senate give him the chance? Did both of them give? If one of the three is yes, then it is null and void. But if if the judgment decides that he was given a fair chance, both houses, then they will handle the case of Kindiki not being fit to take over. And you see, the only thing they're talking about Kindiki not being fit is he did not resign from his job. I think he's up now. I don't think I think he has not even resigned. But then this is a set pacing precedence. And as I know, and as you know, and as everybody knows, in whatever scenario things are, Gachagua knows that he has lost. The only thing is he's going to play around with the judiciary for as long as possible. That one take to the bank. Because let us take scenario number one. Scenario number one, he wins the case. It starts again. Another impeachment, either Mutuse or somebody else goes to the parliament, brings another. It goes through up to parliament. I'm up to the Senate. He is impeached by the Senate. That person, let's say JI-TENGE, that JI-TENGE after Rigathi has been impeached with the Senate, and Ruto says JI-TENGE is now going to be the new DP, Rigathi will start the same procedure again and again. His intention is to do this for the rest of this parliamentary life. Get it from that. He knows he has no case, he knows whatever. And viewers, for those who have studied law and constitution, they say that the 2010 constitution is the most progressive constitution you have ever had. But you see, what I can tell my fellow men is that when you marry the most beautiful girl in the area, you'll still have problems. So having the best constitution we will also have challenges. Thank you for watching my video.